Chelsea Washington, or Dr. Washington, whichever one you feel comfortable calling you guys. And before we get started, I wanted to sign, or I have a confidentiality form for you to sign after we get done. Basically, it just says that whatever is said here is stay here, and there's a couple of clauses that if something does happen during this interview and it does need to be addressed to a higher form, then I will have to take that information to them. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what brings you here today?
Well, I've been struggling trying to get myself motivated enough to finish out with the major that I started with when I came here to college at Michigan State. Now, my major now is journalism, which I really like to write, but I don't like to report. So it's kind of like a me getting in people's business thing. I don't really feel comfortable invading people's privacy, but I would just rather like write about what's on my mind instead.
So it sounds like you're more interested in the creative writing aspect or just the writing aspect versus the other sides of journalism. It's just the writing that's more important to you.
Yes, that's correct. Like, writing in general is a passion of mine because I can just write whatever comes to mind. And with the profession of journalism, I have to make sure that it's appropriate or something that people can relate to, or just make sure it's interesting, something like that. And which I don't have a problem with, but I just rather not.
So how exactly is this making you feel?
It's frustrating because on one hand I know that I can do it and it's not hard, but the other hand, which is like way more like pressure pulling me down, I just don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. So have you like looked into other majors or anything that you can apply what you've done already to something like English, or I don't know if we got a creative writing major or not?
We have a creative writing course, but it's not a major. And we have a poetry course, but it's like reading poetry and not exercising, your talent.
So you have nothing really you can do about the situation that you're in as far as, well, there's also English majoring.
Yeah, I don't want to go to school. But mainly, I figured that if I do stick it out with journalism, I can still exercise the communication aspect of my writing. Like, people will still know or just see my style of writing if I want to be creative or take it out of like just writing like media, video recording, or some type of design elements of it, like behind the scenes, which I've considered, but I haven't like practiced enough with it, so I'm not comfortable.
So you, like with the journalism major, what were you just going to try and go anywhere with that, or did you have a specific career focus?
Yeah, I wanted to be an editor of it, but I realized I can't get to the position of an editor without first recording and being out in the field. Like, they need to know that you have been there and done it before you can like manage people.
Mm-hmm. So it is like necessary and it's going to get you to the steps you just don't feel like doing it anymore.
That sounds bad, but yeah.
So how long do you have left? A year or a little more? Or?
I have 2 semesters, so I mean summer and then fall I can graduate. Yeah. It's just mainly at this point just getting through the classes that like I have to take, like as far as the requirements. Like, even though I don't have to get a good grade in them, still I have to produce like stories or just get out there and make myself available to people.
Mm-hmm. So like, are you sure that this is all coming just from like a lack of motivation in the classes and it's not anything else like outside of school that's like kind of pushing you to like not have any motivation towards school in general?
No, because I actually go to my other classes.
Okay.
And I don't really have a problem, sitting in those classes or doing the work for those classes.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to me sitting in my journalism class, I'm not interested in what they're saying. I feel like I'm just not there mentally. Like, it just doesn't click anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
And do you know, like, the classes you have to take, like, next year? Like, if those will actually be maybe more interesting for you, if they have a different, like...
No, they won't be any more interesting.
No?
They'll just be basic information and an internship that I have to do, and which I know I can do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like these last 2 courses that I've been taking were basically the last stretch of me making a name for myself.
What do you mean by that?
Like, actually having work that I can show people what I've done.
So, okay. So then, like, freshman and sophomore year, you have taken classes like this too, or
Yes.
you hadn't? So is it like just all of a sudden now you're feeling this way, or did you kind of feel it at the beginning when you first started?
No, it was very sudden when I realized it wasn't there anymore. But I also came to the conclusion that it has something to do with me pushing myself, because most of the work that was done before was either in groups
Mm-hmm.
or I just really had more time to focus on it, and I wasn't working like I am now. So that probably has a lot to do with it as well.
Okay. So do you feel like the group work took away from you getting ready for being able to express your individuality or be able to focus more so on crafting yourself during the journalism process?
No, I feel like being in a group made me feel more comfortable in the environment.
Okay.
And just making sure that I knew what I was supposed to do, like having somebody to, like, not necessarily rely on,
Mm-hmm.
but be able to ask questions or just back you up if you didn't know what to do next.
So have you, tell me if I'm wrong, right? So the problems that you're having issues, you don't really have the passion for journalism anymore because it's not what you thought it would be like.
Yes.
And you have another year to go, but you don't really care to continue doing this, but it's like you're already there.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think you'll be doing for the remainder of the semester or the remainder of the year? Do you think it'll be more of a struggle for you, or if you'll try to... Well, basically what I'm asking is, have you thought of how you're going to address the situation?
Yes. I don't necessarily want to take the classes that I've already started with because I know what to expect, and that's what was pulling away from my motivation for it or passion for it. So I kind of feel like if there are other options as far as classes that I can take, then I will know how to, like, get the work done, and it won't be so, I guess, independent.
Okay.
But it will just be more things for me to do, like, right off tops versus me finding out what I need to do.
Right. I think the internship will be really good for you too. Like, if you can really find something directly related to what you see yourself doing, it'll probably, you'll be able to focus more of your attention on there, or be more excited towards that, even though this side over here is boring, you can have something to look forward to. So hopefully you get to find something that you really like during your internship year.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you started looking for that, or how does that work?
No, I haven't started.
Do they, like, you have to go out and do it, or does the school do it for you?
They pretty much inform you about any internship possibility because it's required. So
Okay.
they have, like, it set up so once you get to that point, like you have options.
Okay, so it is part of your graduation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is all the time we have for this session, and I will hope to see you next week.
Thank you.